Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Figs Outside. So today I'm going to be doing a little video. I'm showing my daughter, which is a great thing, and I wholeheartedly believe that this is a very important skill for all the younger generation to learn, is to basically how to work on your own vehicle and especially how to change your own tire, especially with how much traveling a lot of people do, especially the younger generation does, the ones that do drive. And so with this, I'm going to be showing her, and we're going to be going through some of the steps. So I'm going to bring you guys along with us. And yeah, we're going to get this done, and she's going to learn. I hope you guys do too. All right, bye.
What?
So, all right, break them loose. So on this, all you're going to do is you're going to want to break them loose. You're not going to want to take them all the way off. And so I might have to help her out with it, but that's what we're doing. So they're torqued on there pretty good. All right. All right, she's removing the last lug nut. So we got the vehicle propped up. We got the jack underneath the differential. Taking those off, lay that down, Faith, and then grab onto the tire. So this is the next step. So now if you were replacing the tire, you would get the spare tire out from underneath the vehicle. Well, if it's a car, it's in the trunk. On a lot of trucks, it's underneath the bed. Sometimes people throw them in the bed of the truck, but it's usually underneath the bed. So I'm not using the vehicle jack, so I'm not going to go through that. This is going over how to change the brakes on the 2002 Ford F150 with the 5.4 motor, 4-wheel drive. All right, y'all, so we got the tire off. Here's the rotor. And so as you can see in there is not a lot of pad left. And so what you're going to want to do is we're going to take these bolts off right here that hold the main body of the caliper on. Some people like to take these off as well. You don't really have to do that. This just acts as the compression fit for the caliper. So these are 18 millimeter. Hold on, let me show you guys something. Okay, so I've seen it a lot where people are like, oh, that's an American truck. It's a Ford or a Dodge or it's a Chevy. So many, you don't use metric. Okay, well, let me show you something. So this is a 3/4 inch socket. So we're going to put that on there. And I just want to show you guys this. Yeah, that fits. That will work. But you also take the possibility of rounding off the head of that bolt. So here's the next step down. This is 11/16. It does not fit, okay? Here is an 18 millimeter. Let's see, where's it at? Oh, right there, boom. You guys can see that? Let me show you something. Look at that fit. Holy smokes, imagine that. It fits better than the 3/4 inch. So, yes, this is a Ford truck. A lot of these companies have all different sizes of nuts and bolts. Some parts on the motor are standard, some are going to be metric. So anyway, so here's a prime example of that. So yes, we are using the 18 millimeter. Okay, so we're going to pop those loose, and then you got to pry off the caliper. You use a big flat-headed screwdriver for that. You can either wedge it down in here. And so once we get that off, you can also, on the back side, if you're really careful, you can fit a flathead in there, and I'm going to pop the head. And you can also, if you have enough area, you can also compress that piston back into the caliper to release the tension off the caliper so it's easier to pry off. Okay, and then also, so here's the main brake line. These are super simple. You just widen those, pop those out. That simple. Do the next one up here. It gives you a little bit more slack, and you don't have to pull on the other line. So anyway, there we go. And we're gonna get this done, and then we'll show you guys what it's like. And then what I also like to use is a big C-clamp, and then I'll use one of these old pads, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that is I'll take the old pad, put it against the piston, I'll use the C-clamp, and I'll slowly put tension back on that, and it squeezes that piston back into the main body of the caliper to give you enough room for the new pads to slide them back onto the rotor. Okay, we'll see you guys here in just a minute. All right, so we got the bolts out. I don't know whoever did these last time. They must have just dunked that whole bolt in Loctite, so we had to use a little bit of a Persuasion with the old breaker bar, or the cheater pipe, I should say, 36 inch. It is a I will break thee. So anyway, we got those out. And so as you can see, we're just gonna wiggle that off of there nice and gently. And oh man, you could really see where the, there we go, cover up that. Bloop. There you go. Not much pad left on there. Okay, so I'm gonna get this off here and then we'll show you guys the next step. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys real quick. Here it is, these are the pads. Gonna knock those loose. And then I got the old Midas C-clamp. This is a 6-inch. That way I can also do the ones on my trucks, my bigger trucks, my 3/4 and 1 ton. So I'm gonna pop those out, and the piston is dual piston, so it's one on each side. So what I do is I'll pop this piece out, and then I'll take it, I'll broaden the jaws, and I'll set this in there just like that once the jaws are in. And this will actually give me room because I could slide it, that piece. I'll slide it through here on the edge of it, and I will press those pistons back into the body or into the housing. So that way, because these are all worn out. So when you put the new ones on, which are a lot thicker, as you can see. So there's that compared to that. You're never going to get that back onto the rotor. So you got to compress that piston. Some people open the bleed valve, they bleed it out that way and they can press it in with their fingers. That's a pain in the butt, and then you got to re-bleed the system. What I usually do is I just show you what I do with the C-clamp, and then I go up on top of the vehicle and I pop the cap off of the brake fluid reservoir, and that helps with the pressure. Any little bit helps because they are pretty stiff. So, and then with this kit, we got, which kit is this? So there it is, the C679. Got this at O'Reilly Auto Parts, about 60 bucks. So yeah, anyway, and you don't want to use the new pad to press that in, use the old ones, the junkers. So if you put a little dent in them, you booger them up, they're garbage anyway. Okay. All right, y'all, so here we go. You can see how we got this going. Go ahead and twist that. Yep.
Which way?
That way, toward you. Other way. No, release it a little bit. Got to go higher. No, release the tension. Lift it up to the middle of the pad. Big old finger out of the lens. Okay, now twist it. There we go. You can see it moving. It looks like they're pretty much compressed all the way. Go ahead and press it a little bit more. There we go. Good. Undo it. And it's hard for me to do this right now because, yeah, about 2 weeks ago I completely dislocated my thumb. As you can see, it's all KT taped up, and it doesn't feel very good. So I can't use that for a whole lot of stuff. So I got my handy helper who needed to learn anyway. So there it is. Let's take a look. And you kind of see right there. If I move the slide out of the way, there we go. You can see you got the pistons pretty much pressed all the way back in. So the next step, we're going to take the, oh my goodness, I am totally brain farting, guys. So I'm going to take the hardware off. You got the squealer pads in here, and I'm going to take this back bracket off that keeps a little tension on it. I forgot, I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, so we're going to get those out of there. We're going to put the brand new ones in, and then, yeah, these just snap in. They're pretty easy. You can see the little clips, pretty self-explanatory. Same with the ones up here. Right here, got them on both ends. So I'm going to get those replaced. We'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, here we go. We're putting the new hardware in. So those are the caliper slides. We got the new piece in here. I just slid that off. That way we can wire brush a bunch of this stuff. Ooh, man, I got it way zoomed in. That way we could wire brushed a bunch of the scale off. She just snapped the new ones in. We're going to slide that back on. Then we'll get the calipers in. Got the pistons all pushed in. So pretty easy. Not too bad. And then what I like to do is I'm going to put just a tiny bit more brake grease on these. And then I'll use a little bit of brake grease on the edges down here. Just on the very edge. Or on the inside edge of the rails, you could do that too. Just put a little bit of brake grease on there. Just kind of helps to them not rust so bad, and it helps them to slide, and you don't, it helps, it's a lubricant, so it helps the pads to slide, and you also don't get that minute pad wiggle, and it causes squeaks and squeals. So alrighty, y'all, she got the new pads in, and they take a little bit of pressure and tension because you put the new clip in the back, which puts tension on the back side of the pad. Anyway, and it's got the little grippies on the bottom side of the pad that kind of grip into it. Anyway, so they just kind of pop in there, and then this is where the bolts go through the back side of the caliper bracket, and this is where it threads into. This does not have threads in it. So what I like to do with this is I just take a tiny bit of any type of anti-seize lubricant. This is Permatex, never seize. Be careful with that stuff, because no matter how careful you are, it'll end up in your hair and in your ear and your nose and everywhere you can think of. So yeah, I don't know what is up with that stuff, but we'll put just a tiny little dab in there. And I like doing that just because it keeps the rust and stuff from having that bolt lock up. You torque it down, it's in there tight. I have done dozens upon dozens upon dozens of these this way, and I've never had any of them even attempt to work loose. So that's what I like to do. And then in the future, especially if you're in an area where they use a lot of calcium chloride on the roads, which is like a salt, it's caustic. An area where they use a lot of, or where they have a lot of snow and ice, you get a lot of rust. And that's where this truck came from. It has a lot of rust on it. And whoever did these brakes before, they dipped that whole bolt in Loctite. Thank God it wasn't red. Looks to be either blue or green. But anyway, I'm going to clean those up, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of the dab of that Never Seize. We're going to slide this back on there, and then we're going to get it bolted up, and it's the same process for the other side, but we'll show you when we're getting that done. Okay, so she got it back up and bolted in. We just got to torque them down. So your sliding pins, your actual caliper, the sliding pins, the caliper sliding pins, or they call them the guide pins, the guide rods, the caliper guide rod. There's all different names. So whatever. These are usually torqued down to 25 pounds, I believe, 25 to 30. These are kind of conflicting. I've seen some people say, oh, 55 pounds. I've seen some forums and some other specs. I was going to call my uncle. He was actually a master mechanic, and ask him, because he specialized in brakes for like 15 years. At an actual shop, had a shop and everything. So anyway, but yeah, 55 pounds to 118 pounds. Some are 135 pounds, 185 pounds. But I am probably just going to shoot for like 115 pounds with my torque wrench for those. Yeah, so but anyway, so yeah, and that's it. We're going to torque it down. It's there, and now you just got to put the wheel back on and snug it down. And then once you snug it down fairly tight, you lower the jack stand, then you cinch them down all the way. I usually torque my lug nuts at about 115 to 120 pounds. Steel wheels, you can get away with a little bit more. But yeah, you drive it around for a little bit, and then you snug them down again like a day or two later. So then it's the same for the other side. So pretty simple, pretty easy. I don't think you guys need to see us watch us do the other side. So anyway, y'all, I hope this helps you out. It's pretty simple. It's going to save you a ton of money, because I believe most garages now are charging anywhere from 75 to 100 bucks an hour. Plus they charge you for getting the components if they got to order them, and the auto parts store brings it to them. They'll charge you for that, and it's all in time. And you know, for this, you could go buy them, and you could do this within an hour to an hour and a half, without any real skills. You just got to remember which way the caliper. Sorry, guys. You just got to remember which way the caliper goes on, and that's pretty simple. It only really goes on one way, and you just get the pads in there. On the brake pads, there is a little piece that sticks out of the bottom. It's a little stainless steel piece, soft, or it's actually a pretty soft metal, and that is the squealer bar, the squealer. Some people call it a bumper. But anyway, once your pads wear down, which these ones were totally smoked, these things were just rusted all to heck. Thank you, calcium chloride. Super bad, nothing left on them. And the squealer pad was completely, ooh, those are really hot. It's warm here. It's about 85, 90 degrees, somewhere in there. But anyway, so yeah, it'll just save you a ton of money. And that squealer pad goes on the inside of the caliper, not on the outside. It goes on the inside. So anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Once again, thanks for watching this video. Like I said, I hope it helps you out. I hope it helps you to save a bunch of money. And it's not that hard. You could do it yourself. And yeah, it'll maybe give you a little more confidence to do some other stuff to your vehicle, change your oil, do something else. So anyway, guys, thank you. Once again, if you like it, hit this thumbs up button and subscribe, and we'll get at you guys a little bit later. Hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.